our first speaker up here. Vlad, will you please come up and take the microphone?
Woo!
Awesome. So, everybody, a warm welcome for Vlad.
All right. How's everybody doing? Okay, we gotta do this again. How's everybody doing? Yeah! Okay, great. We're gonna practice what we started last week. We're gonna say yes or yes, and everybody's gonna say yes. Yes or yes? Yes! Okay, great. So this is our 8th Saturday. Extremely happy to be here with my family. This is really a family at this point. Yes or yes? Yeah! Exactly. You know, considering that we're not supposed to be here, and we're here anyway, because we really know what's happening out there in terms of the data, the real data is coming out. I mean, it's hard to keep track how much breaking news happening, and then they try to retract it later, but we already know. If you haven't heard already, World Health Organization, one of the main doctors actually made a statement early this week saying there is no transmission between healthy people. They call them asymptomatic, but we're gonna call it healthy people, right? So, and unfortunately, because she got backlash from the World Health Organization, because the whole world said like, stop, wait, what do you mean? There's no transmission between healthy people? So what on earth have we been doing for the last 3 months, right? Yes or yes? Yes. Exactly. And because of the backlash from World Health Organization, she had to retract it, saying, well, you know, I didn't really mean it, I make a mistake, this and that. But again, at least she had a nerve to say it to begin with. So for people that were still hesitant, they were not really clear. I know most of the people here know this from before anyway, but as we know, a lot of people are still confused. There's so much misleading information coming from the government and so-called experts. So I understand people being confused, people being scared, and it's unfortunate, right? So we have to have some compassion for people like that, for sure. Do your best, you know, not to get too confrontational. My always recommendation is, the best strategy is to plant the seed of doubt. Just help them to make a pause and at least question what's really taking place. Right? That's much better approach than to get confrontational. And I get it. It's very emotional for a lot of people. A lot of people stressed, you know, being locked up in a house. Some people literally have not left their house in 3 months. Like, that's unfortunate. And I blame the government and so-called expert for horrendous medical quotation mark advice that they're giving to those people. Because these people are so scared they don't want to leave their house. They are afraid to be with other people. So again, have some compassion. People are stressed for sure, but at the same time, it's our responsibility to educate, because if so-called experts not going to do their job, it's up to us to do the job of making sure that people know what's really taking place. Yeah. Yes or yes? Yeah. Exactly. So besides the World Health Organization making that statement, it's important to know there's actually a lot of studies coming out now outside of Canada, and we're going to use it until we have something like that in Canada. There was a study done in France with a child that was actually infected, tested positive for COVID, and he was exposed to over 112 different people and children, and not a single person got infected from the child. So, like, that's the real data. And then even this morning I was watching the healthy debate between Dr. Davila and previous medical expert for Ontario. I forgot his name right now. Anyway, they were talking about, and Davila to this day says, you know, there's no real data to show that, you know, there's no transmission. There is a data showing there's clinical study was done with over 400 people infected, tested positive. Not a single person got infected with the virus. There's this study from France with a child. There's actually a study from China. You know, whichever question or not question the data, there's a study from China that out of 7,500 people, only one person supposedly got infected with the virus. So there's really no transmission that taking place, and they still not allowing us to be in public. As you know, they allowed us to make bubbles or circles or whatever. Like, it's hard to keep track with all this BS terminology they're trying to impose on us. But Ford said yesterday that now we're allowed to hug our loved ones. Like, what a joke this is. Like, they're really treating us as not even as children. They're gonna allow or not allow us to hug other people. Like, it's ridiculous what's taking place. Again, we've been coming here. This is our 8th Saturday. Hug, yes. Woo! Thank you. We actually have a lot of nurses. We have a lot of dietitians here. Give it up for Action. Yes. We have dentists, we have nurses, we have dietitians, we have real health experts here in the crowd because we know the truth. These people know what's really taking place. So, and as you know, even CBC, like, considering how government propaganda that establishment is, they actually published an article saying that how come Doug Ford haven't released the names of the experts that making this recommendation? And he said, well, you know, we have these experts, this and that. Like, I want to see them, I want to talk to them, I want to ask them questions, or at least having our experts asking those people questions. And he haven't released it. It's total BS, for sure. So, the other thing I was going to say is, you know, so like we've been coming here for 8 weeks, right? Everyone's healthy, everybody's well. The transmission, again, as I just discussed, many clinical studies are happening, and I'm hoping a lot more will be coming out as well, showing that we can be outside, we must be outside, we need to hug other people, we have a healthy immune system, and everything that the government is doing is to suppress, unfortunately, the healthy immune system of people, and that's something that we have to be very, very alert and reject and stand in our ground, that I know how to take care of my body. Yes. I don't go to the doctors on a regular basis because I am a healthy person and I do every single day everything to take care of my own health. And I'm not going to take one expert advice, quotation, big quotation marks, expert advice, telling me that I need to stay away from people, I'm not allowed to hug people, I need to wear the mask in public all the time. It's ridiculous. The hug of a mask is done on purpose because not just that we don't want to wear the mask, we need to hug other people, we need to be in the social gatherings with other people. Before all this happened, there was a study based on blue zones. If you don't know what's a blue zone is where people live well over 100 years old. Now, do you know what was the main, I really want everyone to go back, if would be one thing you guys all go back to your family and friends and give them one piece of information. The one main characteristic between all those zones that people lived healthy lifestyle well over 100 years old was social connections with other people. Social connections with other people. Yes. And they are taken away from us. By they I mean the government. They are disturbing our social gatherings. Because you know how you can combat the masses of people? You separate them. And that's exactly what we're doing, because then we are in numbers, we are strong, we are healthy, and we can oppose those regulations. But then we're not allowed to come together, we're not allowed to have sports gatherings, we're not allowed to have sports activities. Anything that elevates our health, our energy, and our positivity, it's been forbidden for the last 3 months. How does that make any sense if they want us to be healthy? How does that make any sense? No, it's ridiculous. Like, I come here and I just talk because it's emotional and you're speechless sometimes, but I do my best to keep track. So we have these flyers, guys, here again to defy the masks. The mask is becoming a real serious issue because if you haven't heard, Mayor Tory now gonna mandate masks mandatory in transit in Toronto.
Tyrant Tory!
It's a joke!
Tyrant Tory!
We have to really defy this. So Mayor Tory said they're gonna make mandatory masks from July 2nd. That's the real information. Some people sending me something about $3,000 fine and masks already. No. So from July 2nd in Toronto, the masks in transit will be mandatory. Wow. Now, Tory said we're not gonna focus on enforcement. We're gonna focus on education. So we're gonna focus on our education. Yes or yes? Yes! So we have these flyers here today. We're going to finish the box. I'm going to order more so we have more of these flyers. We're going to be back here on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you don't get a flyer today, come back here Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. We'll have more of these flyers. It's a double-sided flyer. The first one talks about if I have a health condition, I'm not wearing a mask and you're not supposed to ask me a question. That's number one thing. In the back, it actually educates people to learn about the mask. So our idea is to flood the city with these flyers.
Nice.
Yes or yes? Yeah! We're gonna defy this. And if you're outside of Toronto, in Guelph, unfortunately, they're really pushing hard with masks as well. So if you are from that area, you know, Niagara, everywhere, because this is what we're doing. The government, they understand there's a Charter of Rights and Freedom. Now, for you guys to again have education and understand Charter rights and freedom, unfortunately for us, only can be fought against in protection if we're in public and government properties. The business can make their own regulations. That's why the government is strongly recommending the businesses to enforce the masks, right? Now, again, it's our responsibility to fight that. Not just by coding the places, because if you just don't go to shop 1, you're not going to be able to go to shop 2 in 1 later, because we'll have to go along with it. So for us, it's important to at least make an effort to defy that. So when you go to the store and they're saying you have to wear the mask, just show them this. Don't get confrontational. Just show them the flyer, let them read it. You know, hopefully it will go well. If not, just turn it around, please. This is why I'm not gonna wear it, okay? And hopefully you'll be able to enter. And if not, then you leave the store. But at least you gotta make attempt and effort to defy. The civil disobedience is one of the only tools that we have to combat all of this stuff. Yeah. Yes, yes. All right, the last thing I'm gonna say before I bring Kelly back, yeah, please take. So this is a petition that's gonna be submitted on Tuesday at 10 a.m. to the legislature in Ontario. Yeah. We have them, we have 2 people by the Fearless tent set up, Fearless campground, whatever set up. So it has to be filled up in full. We have an online version, which is great. We need those names and numbers too, but only physical one will be submitted on Tuesday morning. So thank you for everyone filling this online, but we must fill out this in person today, okay? And if for whatever reason you're not here or other people you know who would like to fill this out, please come 9:30 on Tuesday morning. We'll be here Tuesday morning at 9:30. So whoever doesn't have a chance or wants to fill this out, 9:30 on Tuesday morning we'll be here because we'll submit it at 10 o'clock. So if anyone wants to make an effort and tell more people, because the more signatures we have, full information filled out, that's gonna go to this building right here, and they have to examine it and they have to look at it, and that's part of what we can do. When people come to me and say, what can I do? This is one real action that every single person around GTA can do. Yes or yes? Yeah! Thank you. And then the last thing, we have a lot of water donated today by Chris Sky at our Fearless Ontario campground. Give it up for Chris. Yeah! So every single person, please go ahead and grab a water for you after the speeches. And let me bring Kelly back. Thank you. Stay healthy. Love you all.
Yeah! Vlad, everybody. Let me hear it. I want to hear you louder. Yeah! Yes, to sign these petitions is extremely important. Your physical signature counts so much. I can't even begin to explain to you all. Another thing is we are looking for more volunteers. The more volunteers that can commit even a couple of hours a week to help the movement and to put the word out and to help educate other people, it's absolutely needed. And there's Jenny's walking around and she's got volunteer sign-up forms and stuff, or you can actually go on to the website, which is www.fearlessontario.ca at any time and sign up to volunteer. So right now, I'm going to bring up our second speaker, everybody's favorite, Chris Sky.
Hey everybody! Hi! How's everybody doing today?
Awesome!
Got a lot to talk about. Some things are going to make you happy. Some things are going to make you angry. Some things might make you a little sad. So we're going to go with a whole bunch of things. Let's start. So a man messaged me yesterday. I just want to talk about his initiative quickly. He wanted to bring awareness to suicide prevention. His mother took his own life just 3 days after his birthday, and her birthday happens to be next Sunday on the 21st. And he was planning on coming downtown Toronto to around the Tent City area, grab a whole bunch of food, and go out to hand it out to the less fortunate to help raise awareness. And I told him I'd be interested in helping. So if anybody wants to volunteer and help out on that initiative that's going to be happening next Sunday, they can contact me directly, and we'll go out about that. So, the government has been doing a lot of lying. We know this. The lies are getting more desperate, to the point where we talked about the secret vote to make sure they didn't have transparency, so they wouldn't tell us why they're extending our lockdown. It went even a step further. When Doug Ford was posed, who are these so-called experts that are giving us the so-called data that we're not allowed to see? His response was, I'm sorry, I can't tell you who the experts are. So, we have experts telling us data, experts we're not allowed to know of, telling us data we're not allowed to see, so we don't have the reason that we need to be stayed locked down, but they're assuring us that lockdown is the only way to go. I don't know if you know our Deputy PM, Chrystia Freeland. She's a well-known author. She was in CTV News yesterday, and she let the cat out of the bag by accident. She admitted their reopening strategy for the GTA is going to take up to 8 months. That was published June 3rd, by the way. That takes us into 2021. Now, let's look at this logically. Our PM is a fired substitute drama teacher. Our deputy PM is an author. They're listening to unknown, unnamed health experts, and these people that have absolutely no economic training, no medical training, not even considering any other factors, are making a one-size-fits-all strategy for our city, telling us what's best for our own economic decisions for our family.
Malpractice.
Now, you could think of it as malpractice. You could think of it's definitely treason.
Yeah.
Definitely. But a lot of people want to put it out to incompetence because it's a lot easier to forgive someone for being incompetent than it is to admit they know exactly what they're doing. But I can prove it to you. This is one of those things I'm going to tell you that I said was going to make you angry. So our author, Deputy PM, just wrote a biography for a very famous, well-known person who's getting a lot of attention lately. Not quite, but even worse in my opinion. This man has paid our Deputy PM personally and handsomely to write this biography of him. Maybe you heard of him. His name is George Soros.
Whoa!
So let's say that again. Our Deputy PM is being paid bribes, paychecks directly from George Soros. If that wasn't bad enough, if you still doubt that their plan is to attack small business, destroy it, get rid of it, and prop up the large business to create a class of super wealthy and a class of government dependent and eliminate the remainder of the middle class, all I have to tell you is, what is the name of Chrystia Freeland's latest book? Does anybody know? Am I the only person that knows this kind of weird stuff?
My hero!
It's called Plutocrats. The Rise of the World's Super Rich and the Fall of Everybody Else. This is the woman that's enforcing the policies that are destroying our small business and making companies like Amazon and Walmart exponentially and record-breakingly more wealthy, telling you that you're going to be a criminal if you try to feed your family, telling you that they're going to take the next 8 months to let you go back to work, and then telling you that she wants you to buy her book called Plutocrats, The Rise of the World's Super Rich and the Fall of Everybody Else. This is our government, people. This is what we're facing. So, why are they getting so desperate with all the lies and all basically just denying us any access to any information that could prove what they're doing? Well, they know they're going down, yes, but what are they trying to do? What is their number one weapon right now, besides the fear? Media is their tool, but what is their weapon? Their weapon is division. From the onset, they have divided us into as smaller and smaller groups as physically possible. It started with dividing the people who are afraid of the virus with the people who are not afraid of the virus. That was a big divide right there. They continued that division with the people getting CRB payments and the small business owners or other people that are still working. Now they continued that divide. They tried everything they could to create the racial tension and racial riots that they got in the United States of America. But thankfully, we're in Canada. We're in the most diverse, welcoming, inclusive nation in the world, and their plans fell flat on their face. The media was so desperate last week after our march when the so-called anti-racism protesters showed up. I went to greet them because I could tell they were afraid. They were literally afraid of us. So I went over by myself, and these kids, they must have been kids, no older than 17, 18 years old. And I walked over and I said, why are you guys way over here? Like, we just finished our march, we're having a good mood, everyone's still having a good time. Why don't you come over there? They were shaking their head. They're literally terrified of it. What are you scared of? What did somebody tell you? They're like, well, we heard by the media that this is a KKK rally.
Oh my God.
That's what they said to us. I looked at her in the eyes. I said, Yes, apparently we're all white supremacists, we're all racists, and all the rest of it. But I looked at her and I said, do I look like I'm someone you should be scared of, or do I look like I'm inviting you over there to be with the rest of us? And at that point, she shook my hand and she smiled. She didn't take off her mask, though, unfortunately. Baby steps, baby steps. But they did come over. And guess what the mainstream media, who only showed up after they showed up, did? When we were all mingling together, we wanted the media to show how everybody was included, united, the solidarity, the positivity. The media was having none of it. They literally got their camera crews and started trying to literally divide our groups on one side and the other so they could start filming and get their shot of two so-called opposing groups on one side or the other. But our people were having none of it. We were videotaping them, we showed each other, these videos are all online, and you can see the mainstream media getting very frustrated because we were preventing them from creating their narrative. So they just went and called us racists again. No big deal.
We're online, we're online.
We're all online. Everybody's online, and we hope that we're all online.
What website?
What do you mean? Yeah, why are you wearing a mask at the front of her?
Point. I'm asking you.
Hugs over masks. Didn't she get the memo?
What website?
Which websites? What do you mean? Our website is fearlessontario.ca. My nonprofit is BackToWork.bz. And I'm going to talk about getting people back to work right now, as a matter of fact. That's why I'm really here. The most pressing issue. So we know their weapon is division. Sorry for the distraction, but it was obviously on purpose. We know their weapon is division. We know the way around their weapon is unity, solidarity, community outreach. Once we all come together, we can be non-compliant together. When we're non-compliant together, we get our way, they don't get their way. The most pressing issue, there's a lot of issues right now, but the most pressing issue is getting people back to work. Why? 97% of our businesses are small businesses. 70% of our jobs are created by small business. Millions, tens of millions of people rely on small business. Our economy relies on small business. Our way of life revolves around the success of small business. So if we do not come together as a community and save our small businesses, the rest of our country will collapse just as bad. So, thankfully, Back to Work got launched. We already have over $5,000 in the legal fund and is growing every day. Businesses are being added every day. They contact me. I've had people contact me that never showed up at this protest, didn't have any idea who I am, just by word of mouth. I want to tell you about one family I went to visit and something that could help a lot of the people here that we helped find in businesses leasing contracts that a lot of people don't know about, but it applies to about 1/4 of all contracts. So I got a call, I got an email. It was from a woman. She had a business. It was a clinic of some type. I don't want to give too much information. So as soon as somebody signs up on my site, a business owner, I get an email notification with their contact, and I immediately contact them, and we make a meeting where I can come to their business and we can go through their lease agreement and see if there's any way I can help them there. And then we go through their business, and using the new guidelines, I come up with an adaptive business model that'll help them generate revenue, even if they can't officially open, just to keep them afloat. So this family called me, and I went there. Sure enough, I saw a beautiful wife, husband, and two amazing little girls. They were like, literally like they came out of a movie. They were just absolutely adorable. And they told me, I told them, you got to look at your lease. There's a clause in 1 out of 4 leases that if you have a government closure on your business, your landlord cannot force you to pay rent. It's humongous. Not only will that just save you the amount of money for all this time, number one. Number two, it can give you the leverage to renegotiate an entirely new lease from scratch with cheaper payments, deferred payments, whatever works for you. The point is, it can put you in the driver's seat, and it's something anybody can look at their lease, costs absolutely no money, and it'll affect at least 1 out of 4 businesses in this country, and it can save those businesses. First of all, that worked for them. As soon as they saw that, they started tearing up, and they told me that they'd already lost their house, and they were literally about a week away from losing their business, and really didn't know what they were going to do. So we went through their business. I gave them a way that they could start generating revenue again. They got the confidence they needed, the courage they needed to stand up to the government, and more importantly, they got the means to save their family, save their business, and hopefully get their house back. This is what Back to Work is all about. This is what we're trying to do on a grand scale for everybody. Everybody needs to look out for everybody else. The landlords need to take care of the business owners. The essential businesses need to take care of the non-essential businesses. All of us need to do our part. I donated those waters from Back to Work just for everybody, and we don't want anything, but we do appreciate donations at BackToWork.bz for the cause, one way or the other. We accomplished a lot in the last week when we started Fearless Ontario and we got Randy to come speak for us. He's been a real thorn in their side. He's the one that started that petition, and that petition is great. It's getting not just national attention. We got an official endorsement from Dr. Penny, and she's internationally renowned. And so when you have international doctors that aren't on the government payroll telling you the truth, it's a lot more credible than unnamed doctors giving you unnamed data, telling you how you have to live your life. Another important development that I have to mention. I mentioned a long time ago that we were pursuing a lawsuit against the government with Rocco Galati. He is an absolute legend. He is a warrior, and he is coming for them. Ideally, it should be filed by next Tuesday. If you're wondering why it's taken this long, it's pretty easy to explain. Our government is so corrupt and everything they're doing is so blatantly illegal that our lawsuit submission is already at 83 pages long and counting. 83 pages to try to explain all the illegal stuff they're doing and all the ways they're trying to subjugate us. Well, it's going to get filed next week. The pressure's going to be on. This is going to keep growing. We're getting new privileges. Next week, we're going to try to bring food here. We're going to sell donating tickets to help generate revenue for all the causes going around. We need everybody to do their part. We need everybody to sign that petition. We need everybody to go to fearlessontario.ca and sign up. We need everybody to go to BackToWork.bz, make a small donation, show your business friends. It's spreading by word of mouth. Every business I help tells another business, tells another business, tells another business. And it's going great. I tried to warn you guys about this whole regional opening thing, and I told you they're going to use it as a way to stall. They try to show you this map that shows all of Ontario, and it looks like the whole of Ontario is open except this little tiny portion that we call the GTA. The reality is, the GTA is almost 70% of all the businesses in Ontario. So even if they open the rest of Ontario, all the businesses at 50% capacity, that's only 15% of the economy open. And they're trying to tell you guys that they're opening things. Reality is, they just released a report today saying the medical officials that we're not allowed to know who they are telling everybody that places like salons and small clinics are not going to be open in the GTA until at least the end of summer.
What kind of deficit are we going to incur with all this?
Oh, deficit? I'm not a mathematician, but I can tell you it's going to be at least $300 billion this year.
Yeah.
And already our GDP has shrunk by close to 10%, and it's falling more every day, and with no prospect of replacing these jobs. That's what you guys have to realize. When these businesses are gone, there's nothing to replace them. When these restaurants are gone, they're not coming back. These are restaurants. Some of these restaurants have been here since the 50s, the 60s, places we grew up with. These are places that have supported not just one family, but generations of the same family. And now these people are out on the street, literally. And the government doesn't care. The government thinks of you as collateral damage. They have all these wonderful sounding terms that just take the feeling out of everything. You're just statistics. But, like I said, we're making headway. Every week, we're making things happen. Every week, Doug Ford's approval drops. Every week, more businesses are signing up to Back to Work. Every week, we're getting more coverage. The LCBO is going to be open without Doug Ford. There's plenty of people lining up over there. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We're going to do our march today. And my wonderful wife is handing out our Back to Work sheets for anybody that needs instructions on how to join Back to Work. See my beautiful wife. She'll be handing them out to everybody. Thank you guys so much. It was great.
Chris Sky, everybody, Chris Sky. Big round of applause. He's doing some fantastic stuff for businesses. We all are participating in this, and it is up to all of us. I just like to say a couple of words, and then I'm going to bring up one of Randy Hillier's staff members. He's here on his own accord to ensure that his petition gets out and that it gets signed, because it is that detrimental. I would like to just have a few minutes to talk about words. What are words? Words are everything in a civilization. They're everything, because it's the words that we use that define the laws, that keep the peace among such a vast, beautiful array of people. Words are everything to civilization. Now, when it comes to all of these experts, the most important word would be license. If any of these doctors are not licensed in virology, they are unqualified to speak about COVID-19. 100% unqualified. In fact, they are committing an act of malpractice, according to Canadian law. And they should be confronted. It is so very important that everybody understands this. If they are not a virologist, they are not qualified to speak about viruses, period. So with that said, I'd like to invite Mike up here.
Hello, everyone. So, as she said, I'm the staff of MPP Randy Hillier. I've been the one that's been trying to get this petition around, making sure everyone signs. I'm very glad to see the energy here. I only heard about this, honestly, 3 weeks ago. And when I saw everyone getting involved and Randy heard about it, he was like, we got to get going. We got to get this moving, because the only way that we can change and end this lockdown is together. There's nothing that we can't do if we're not unified in a single cause under a single banner to end this lockdown. So I want to thank everyone from Fearless Ontario, fearlessontario.ca. Get on all their social media, get involved, volunteer, get a free water from their booth. The more that we come, the more that we get our families here, our communities, the quicker this will change. It doesn't matter if they decide to end the lockdown tomorrow. There's still more work to be done. Randy is going to be fighting for you guys. He knows that this has to stop. His riding is hurting. All our ridings are hurting. It is time we take a stand. Thank you very much. Be sure to get this petition signed. Visit fearlessontario.ca, randyhilliermpp.ca, and thank you.
End the lockdown. Why? Because enough is enough.
Enough is enough!
Hear you. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough!
Still can't hear you. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough!
Next, I'd like to introduce somebody who I actually saw a few posts on social media. You guys might have seen them yourself. His name is Dustin. You might recognize him. And he's going to come up and say a few words himself right now with his beautiful little daughters.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Not much of a public speaker here, but I got something to say and it needs to be said. So I worked for a construction company, and I worked there for 15 years since I was 15 years old. And basically half my life went into making these guys millions and millions of dollars. It was always a great company to work for. They always treated me really well, took care of me and my family, and it was fantastic. And then we got shut down for the COVID. We came back about 7 weeks later, and they paid all our 7 weeks' wages, which was fantastic of them. But 7 weeks later, we came back and we had new COVID policies. Now, this included things like contact tracing, and we had physical distancing procedures and things like that. And I was fine with all of that. And then people started wearing masks around, which is fine because that's their choice. But it came to a point where I was cornered by my supervisor, or by my boss, actually, the president of the company, and he they cornered me and they said that I had to wear a mask, that there was no choice in the matter anymore, that it was the law. And now I said to them, where's this law? Show me the law. And guess what? They couldn't show me the law because there is no law saying that we have to wear masks. It's garbage. Absolute garbage.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, I refused to wear the mask, and in that, they decided to make an example of me and fire me. 15 years I worked for these people. I worked so hard, and just to be treated like that, I didn't deserve it. I don't deserve to be threatened with my job. Nobody does. We all have the right to liberty here, and we should use it. So I used my time, and I quit my job. Well, I was fired, really. And now I'm doing everything I can to fight back, and I'm here with you wonderful people, and we're making it happen. And it's all about these kids, because it's their future we're fighting for, not just ours.
Children's mental health.
Right.
And socialization is essential.
Absolutely. All right, thanks, guys.
Look at his wonderful, beautiful little daughters over here with their signs. I love little activists. You guys are my favorite kind of people. Look at these little activists. Big round of applause. Right now, I'm going to have Ella. Where's Ella at? Ella. We have a beautiful young little singer in the crowd who would like to come up here and sing y'all a little song. And after Ella comes up, I'm going to have Kieran take the stage. Ella? Are you still? Oh, come on up here, sweetheart. Ellie. Sorry, Ellie. My apologies. Ellie. Everybody, a big warm welcome for Ellie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ellie, and I'm here today because there's a global issue going on. I'm not talking about COVID-19. I'm talking about our rights being taken away, and I will not stand for that. So I'd like to sing a song to represent why we're all here, because we will not go speechless. Here comes a wave meant to wash me away, a tide that is taking me under. Swallowing sand, left with nothing to say, my voice drowned out in thunder. But I won't cry, and I won't start to crumble. Whenever they try to shut me or cut me down, I won't be silenced, you can keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless. 'Cause I'll breathe when they try to suffocate me. Don't you underestimate me, 'cause I know that I won't go speechless. Written in stone, every rule, every word, centuries old and unbending. Stay in your place, better seen and not heard. Well, now that story's ending. 'Cause I cannot start to crumble. So come on, try to shut me and cut me down. I won't be silenced, you can keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless. Speechless at the storm in. I cannot be broken. No, I won't live unspoken. 'Cause I know that I won't go speechless. Try to lock me in this cage, I won't just lay me down and die. I will take these broken wings and watch me burn across the sky. Hear the echo saying I won't be silenced. Though you wanna see me tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless. Speechless, 'cause I'll breathe when they try to suffocate me. Don't you underestimate me, 'cause I know that I won't go speechless. All I know is I won't go speechless. Speechless.
Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful voice, sweetheart. And absolutely necessary. And it is about speech. And our speech does matter. It absolutely does matter. Just one second there. There we go. So now I would like to invite Kieran up. So this young man, he just impresses me so very, very much. And I think he's going to have a very strong future in leadership.
Thank you. Another round of applause for Ellie. That was a wonderful song. And I know it takes a lot of bravery to come up here in front of all you wonderful people and present anything. So last week was my first time doing any public speaking. And I was encouraged by a conversation I had with Mike, who spoke 2 weeks ago, to give my own speech. I think it's important. So I didn't prepare anything to say this week, so I'm just going to speak about what I've been thinking about recently, which is purpose, and specifically positive and negative purpose. And by negative, I don't mean bad, I just mean avoiding. So negative is you avoid, positive is you go towards. So some of you might know the golden rule, which is do unto others as you'd have do unto you. And the silver rule, which you may not know, is do not do unto others as you would not have done to yourself. And so I don't know how everybody wants to be treated, but I definitely know, based on myself, how I don't want to be treated. And I cannot treat people like that. But then there's positive and negative purpose, right? Purpose to avoid and purpose to go towards. So I have some negative purpose. I will not get vaccinated, right? But that doesn't give me somewhere to go in life. That just tells me what to avoid. And I think a lot of the problem for people who are afraid of the virus is that they're locked in their houses. They've lost all of their positive purpose. They have negative purpose. Don't go outside. Don't see their friends. Don't do anything cool, interesting, fun. But they have no positive purpose anymore. And I think what all of us here need is positive purpose for building community. Building community, which is why we're all here, to meet each other, to network, to be with like-minded people. Positive purpose in, making a brighter future. And I think that needs to involve decentralization. We become responsible for each other. We have our own local communities. We become self-sufficient. I don't live off-grid, so I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I do think it's important that we try to move in that direction as much as we can. And that's tough for me to say because I'm a computer science major, so my work is online. But it's been a big change that I've had to deal with myself for how to move in that direction. And I'm sure most of us probably don't want to be Amish. If we can avoid that, that would be best. And so if one person wants to move off-grid, they're going to be living in the middle of the woods in a shack. If 10 people move off-grid, they can have a small community. If 1,000 people live off-grid, we can have exactly what we have now. And if we all decide to not comply and to not do things we know to be wrong and to not support the psychopaths in office, then everything would change immediately. We must resist. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kieran. That's Kieran, everybody. One big round of applause for Kieran. I'm going to get McGill to come on up here. We are getting close to a time limit, but after McGill, I want Maddie up here. And after Maddie, we're going to have Lamont come up and get you all prepared for that march. Big warm welcome from McGill, everyone.
Thank you. So I come a bit prepared now. Will go better. So have you guys seen the movie Idiocracy? Yeah, it's a comedy, right? Yeah. Some people say it's like a documentary, right? It's not so funny, that joke anymore, right?
They live.
So we're being programmed and molded to accept a planned utopian future with two social classes, the slaves and the masters. Some people have realized this before, and we were called conspiracy theorists. But now you can see this unfolding right in front of your eyes. We have been dumbed down, divided, poisoned, killed and enslaved into a belief system that convinced us we have the freedom of choice in our modern society. We are free to choose a political corporate candidate to represent us in government. In this current political system, the politicians really represent
He mentioned the movie
us,
Theocracy.
don't really represent us, and their campaign funds come from big corporations. Can we really make a difference in our country by voting? Can we really make a difference in our country by voting each election cycle? If voting really mattered, if voting really made a difference, it would be illegal.
That's right.
There was one topic that really opened my eyes to reality: the pharmaceutical industry, especially the very lucrative business of cancer treatment. Doctors are educated to think that by removing a tumor, it's a treatment, like chemotherapy. After removing the tumors, and they think that they're helping the patients. Tumors are a symptom of an unhealthy body, and they are not the cause. If you don't heal the body, you don't treat the cancer. The reason why doctors cannot say your cancer is gone, sir, you are healed, is because cancer is a symptom and it will always come back most of the times if the cause is not treated. They say you are in remission instead. You're not healed, you're in a remission, and you'll continue in remission for the rest of your life. If you don't treat the cause of the problem and instead focus on the symptoms, the problem remains. Unfortunately, this does not happen just with cancer treatment. This is a general problem of modern medicine. Healthcare focuses on symptoms, not causes, because that's where the money is. Why focus on health if you can medicate your customer for their lifetime?
Someone's in my way.
Medicine should be completely detached from influence of the profit-hungry pharmaceutical industry. But we don't have that. We have a similar problem with government and politicians. Big corporations and organizations have the strongest influence in government. If people want a healthy government, we need to be able to control government, not government having control over us. If we remove a tumor, we can remove the same way. We can remove a tumor. We can remove a politician from government, but we are not solving a problem, are we? What is the cause of corruption in government?
What?
Hey, quiet!
Government itself. Everybody, anytime.
If we don't heal the body, we'll never get rid of this cancer. If we don't change how this country works, your children, the children of your children, will be fighting this forever. Right now, this country is a corporation. Corporations have owners. Corporations have employees. Let's take ownership of this country. Let's create a constitution written by the people, for the people, not for profit of international organizations and oligarchs. UnifyThePeople.ca has been working on this. They've written constitutions for every province, and you can participate also in the writing of the constitution for Ontario. You can also take action. You have a say, and you should be participating.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Thank you so very much. We're going to have a new speaker come up right now. His name is Kyle. Awesome. And after Kyle, we're going to have Maddie, and then we're going to get ready for that march. Are you all up for a march or what? All right, here are Kyle. Big warm welcome.
Thank you. So basically, I just want to start by saying this. So 75 years ago, our forefathers saw to the end of an authoritarian regime that took control of all of Europe. We liberated it, and we brought in a new era of prosperity, freedom, and liberty. But today, we're under attack by those same kind of forces. Authoritarianism is everywhere. And it's in the media, it's creeping into the mainstream. We get slandered. Pardon? Yeah, sorry, it's there, yeah. So, us, the forces of liberty, we want freedom. We're fighting an uphill battle. The media is against us. The government's against us, and the corporations are against us. The far left, you know, they're out there. They're attacking what we hold dear here. And the media has a double standard. What were they saying for weeks about us? They were saying we were dangerous. They were saying out here that we were going to hurt people. We were going to get people sick. Well, all of a sudden, those big protests over there start happening. What do they say? Oh, it's no big deal. So that shows a double standard. Either they are acknowledging that there was no reason to lock down and destroy our economy, or they do not care about the people. One of those two has to be true. Which one do you think it is? Both. Exactly, both. So instead, what do we see? Instead of having strong government, strong people, what do we see? We see our institutions. We see our prime minister bowing down before the mob. And this is a blatant acknowledgement of what this has become, which is fear tactics. He is the mob, exactly. Now we hear calls to disband our brave police forces who are keeping everyone safe. And they're removing our ability to defend ourselves. You only need to look at Seattle right now to see what happens. Anarchy and thugs putting their sick form of justice with no accountability to the people. These mobs, these people who are sowing discontent and division, as we've heard before, they use the same tactics as terrorists. All right, they are destroying our cultural monuments. They're defacing Churchill in Britain, Abraham Lincoln down in the United States. And they're trying to ban our shows, our movies, and they're trying to burn our books. That's what they're doing right now. Now, instead of the media, the mainstream, calling any of this out, what do we hear? We hear them explaining the same cultish mantras over and over and over again. They ignore them. They say, oh, there's no violence. There's none of this. Well, we can see it with our eyes. They've ignored us. We know what they're like. Now, I know things may seem a little on the back foot for us, but there's reason to have hope. We're the silent majority. We are, as we can see here. And the problem with the silent majority, though, is just that. They don't stand up till it's too late. And that's why we are here making a difference. This is a good start, all right? We're out here, and we're making a stand. We need to figure out how to organize ourselves. So we got to keep this going. Because if we disperse this, if we do not be proactive next time, then we keep sliding. So I suggest that we need to, this is a good start right here. And we need to come together, we need to talk to people, we need to get to know each other.
And kick some ass.
Exactly. We're out here defending our culture, we're out here defending our liberty. And this is something that our forefathers paid in spades to get us. And if we give that up, that'll all be for vain.
Lest we forget.
Exactly, lest we forget. Now, we need to continue what we're doing here. And I think that we have a good thing here, what we're doing. We got a fire going, and if we keep it burning, if we keep standing up for what we believe in, then no one can defeat us. We may be fighting an uphill battle, but the greatest stories in history are when the little man stands up to the big man against all odds. David and Goliath, and that's us. So let's get out there. Let's show them we will not go quietly into the night, that we're going to stand up for our God-given rights, paid for by the generations before us, that we do not have to use violence and intimidation to do it. We're going to stand on our morals, we're going to stand for a just cause, and we will not compromise with those who are willing to take away everything that we hold dear. Most importantly, let's make our children proud to say that they did not kneel. Thank you.
Kyle, everybody, that's Kyle. Big round of applause. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up my favorite person right now to this microphone. I just love this young man. He is an advocate for those with mental afflictions, anxiety, and Maddie, I just love you so much. Everybody, this is Maddie.
Thank you so much. Your faith, your support, coming to this has actually saved my life. Hugs save lives. They are not just better than masks, they save lives. Connectivity is the foundation to actually healing from any mental health affliction, whether it be minor anxiety or the major stuff I suffer, like bipolar disorder, autism. All these types of things have become my gifts. I stand here representing every person too afraid and stricken down by their mental health because they are seen as invisible. It is an incredible oppression that we actually suffer, and so I have found the strength inside myself through my recovery to stand here as one voice on behalf of all of those too afraid to stand up. And this lockdown is killing us. Unemployment, 1% will double. Deaths of distress. I am calling everyone to do away with the term suicide. It actually perpetuates and teaches us to hurt ourselves. These are deaths by distress. We are in distress. We are not wanting to die. We want to live, and there is no solution for it. And we have been put down exponentially. If we take 15% unemployment with the best number I can come up out of 2017, there's lag in numbers. I'm serious. I'm getting to the bottom of this. And at 4,100 doubled, compounded, that's too much math. It's too many deaths. We're looking at millions per year if we don't solve this now. Millions per annum, not one shot. So I will be walking the streets 24/7. I am not going home, at least to the end of this month. And if at that point the collective organizers here feel that forward momentum does not happen, I will stay out indefinitely. I failed at a 3-day hunger strike because of the heat, the exercise of actually pushing and walking the grounds. And I am here back, recovered, to say, you know what? We are stronger. You can't put us down. I will adapt. I'm just going to eat, and that way I can stay and push this message. Come talk to me. I have days of things to talk about. Come share your stories. I am collecting them to be that voice. Come talk to me. Sign the back of the board if you are for hashtag mental health is visible. I'm trying to push this. I found it unused in October. Anything mental health, please help and use that hashtag. Help me build a foundation to house and home homeless and mental health.
That's Maddie, everybody. He is an emotional, beautiful young man. And that's what it's all about. We are supposed to be here for one another. This is Canada. Every single one of us is obligated in the exact same way to provide our children with a future of a better world than we were handed. That's our job, and that's what we unite under. This is not a partisan movement. This is not a race movement. This is not anything to do with politics. We don't care what you believe in, who you believe in, what your faith is, what color your skin is. None of that matters. What matters is the democracy that gives us the ability to be who we are as individuals and unite under democracy, one flag for our future, for our children. With that said, I'm going to have BK from InfoWars come up here for a quick second. He's got a small announcement to make, and then I'm going to ask Lamont to come on up.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Hey folks, BK from InfoWars.com. How y'all doing? Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, fellow Canadians, let's ask not what our country can do for us, but what we can do for our country. Now, this evening, around 4 to 6 p.m., a number of us are planning on going to Dundas Square to hand out flyers with the general public. We know people are reaching out to people on the side of the streets. People are loving to go marching. It's fantastic. And what my colleagues and I did a few years ago to beat swine flu is somebody set up a meetup so a bunch of us red-pilled folks could look at and talk to each other people who understand what's going on. We met for falafels and shawarmas, about 15, 20 of us. We had a great time getting along. Then we felt like acting. So we set up a meet and greet table near Dundas Square, right outside the Eaton Center. Polite patriots, ignoring people, saying hi to people, passing on info to go, posters, flyers, or DVDs, or talking to people who want to talk to us politely. No nonsense, no taking out our frustrations. The only people that look crazy were people who are triggered We didn't, everybody else didn't, and some people who were quickly left after getting embarrassed. And then we loaded up our backpacks with posters and flyers, and we flyered every mailbox, we postered every street, and we had a great time doing so. So what I want to say for people out there is across Canada, in cities and towns everywhere, this is a great way to red pill your town or city, so please consider it. And please consider today, 4 to 6 p.m. at Dundas Square, passing out flyers to our fellow Canadians, getting them from half knowledge to full knowledge, and once we're all informed and empowered, we'll help our leaders and our media and each other get a better future. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, BK. So just before I shut her down and we're going to let Lamont come up here and get you guys all prepped and ready for that march, I just want to once again advertise, I am the liaison for it, however, Fearless Ontario. I encourage everybody to please go to the website www.fearlessontario.ca. Sign up if you'd like to volunteer. I love this little guy. He's adorable. That's right. Go woo woo. Woo woo. He's so cute. And like I said, hopefully the crowds will just keep getting bigger and bigger. Thank you all so very much for your support. And from the bottom of my heart, I really do mean that. We're going to get this done, folks. We're going to get this done. We're going to make the changes where they need to be made right there in that house that belongs to us. So big round of applause for everybody here. And thank you very much. Lamont.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for all being out here, number one.